before we had this kind of thing that let's just give the coach time to implement his tactics.
Yes.
Then yesterday you start having doubts that is tactics that are actually not good, or the players are actually not giving their best into these things, because we see these players when they play in their clubs, we see how much passionate they, how much work they do in their clubs, and we see them playing in the national team. We see how they are. How will I say it? How they play very lazy. I would say they play very lazy in the national team, and I think probably the coach needs to work on that and probably push some more passion into those players and actually make them play with the zeal that they should. Because yesterday's performance was not good at all.
It's not good at all. Okay, just before I get your thoughts further on that, for those who did not watch the match, you should know that Nigeria took the lead within the first 9 minutes of the game, and it was Terry Murphy scoring his 5th international goal in as many matches to put the Super Eagles of Nigeria ahead before Riyad Mahrez, equalized from the spot. And that's belter, it must be said. 40 yards out, gave, Algeria the lead, which ended up being the winning goal for a 2-1 win over the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, there are concerns about the goalkeeping department. You look at it, we have had Maduka Okoye over the last 3-4 years, thereabouts. Francis Uzoho as well. None of these goalkeepers instills confidence. In the Nations Cup, you had against Tunisia, that's the second round match, which we lost and, got eliminated from tournament. It was Maduka Okoye who got beaten by 28-30 yard, shot. This time around, it was Francis Uzoho who was in goal and misjudged the flight of the ball from 40 yards out. How can we rectify, the goalkeeping problem we have?
I think firstly is when you look at these keepers, I don't know if they have started starting in their clubs, but
exactly.
They are not starters.
Okoye is on the bench.
So they are not starters in their club. So that is a very major problem, because if you are not being tested week in week out in your clubs, how can you come to the national team and just and be the goalkeeper? Nigeria has had luck of having good goalkeepers from time past, but these two keepers, they have been really under fire. I would say, because the ball yesterday was I expected the keeper to have caught that ball, and he performed really woefully. And the next thing Nigeria has to do, probably I don't know who their goalkeeper coach is. I think they need to probably will I say upgrade them, or probably put more pressure on these goalkeeper coaches to improve these keepers. But again, it still boils down to the club, because these players spend most of their time at the clubs. So it is the responsibility of these clubs to improve these goalkeepers. So you get doubt of probably Nigeria going out to look for more goalkeepers in different other clubs. I think that would be probably the best decision.
Okay, but beyond the goalkeeping aspect, there are talks about the officiating as well, not fair, seemingly biased against Nigeria. But let's look at the attacking outlets. Yes, Terry Murphy, as I said, 5 goals in 5 international matches. He can't stop scoring, but we have Cyril Dezers in there. There was Kelechi Iheanacho, in the mix. I mean, Osimhen is somewhere, even though he didn't play yesterday. Again, in recent times, we've not been scoring lots of goals. Remember, you had the crucial match against Ghana over 180 minutes. That's the World Cup playoff. We couldn't, score more than a goal, and that was even, via the penalty spot, which William Trust Ekong scored at Abuja. So, what exactly is wrong with our offensive outlets? We have players who score goals week in, week out in their various clubs, but when it comes to national team duties, in the last 1 year, the goals have not been forthcoming.
I think that's where the coach comes in. The kind of gameplay you have as a team, it tells on your goal scoring ability as a team in general. We have these good quality players up front. I think probably Nigeria is probably in Africa we have probably one of the best when it comes to the quality of players up front. But they are not producing goals. I think probably from the kind of tactics and formation the coach is doing. I think it's the coach's job to grind out this kind of results that he wants from the players. I think that it's the coach job, and probably that's what you should be looking on right now.
Okay, just before I leave, this discussion about the Super Eagles, let me get your take. You've seen, Osipe Serio over the last 4 matches thereabouts. What do you make of his tactical knowledge? Do you think he's the right coach to mold the Super Eagles into, becoming a force once again on the African scene?
Well, I wouldn't go with him. I wouldn't say no yet, but I'll probably want to give him some more time.
Okay.
As I mean, we really didn't have a lot of international breaks for these players to come together and for him to instill his kind of tactical decisions that he wants on these players. So I'll say we give him more time.
Okay.
But again, he should also note that when you have very good quality players, a lot of expectations are required from you. A lot of people have these high expectations of you to produce results. So I think he should better work on that and produce these results.
Okay. Just as the Super Eagles of Nigeria, were playing yesterday, you had another major announcement yesterday talking about former Super Eagles captain John Mikel Obi, who announced his retirement from football for a career that spanned over 20 years. Remember, he played 91 games for the Super Eagles of Nigeria and scored 6 goals. One of the key players, that represented Nigeria at every major tournament from your under 17, where he emerged as the second best player of that tournament in 2005. Surprisingly, behind Lionel Messi, who won the MVP of the tournament, as well as Tai Taiwo at the time, who won the bronze medal, talking about the MVP ball. Down to the under 20, the Olympic team with Samson Siasia at the helm of affairs way back as of 2008, also losing once again to a Lionel Messi inspired Argentina and to the Super Eagles. He has represented us in a very good light. What do you make of Mikel's retirement from football as a whole? We know he had retired for some time from national team duties, but looking at his career, he's trophy laden. 2 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 1 Europa League, 4 FA Cups. Just name it.
I think I would say for Mikel, probably I would say he's the best Nigerian player probably in this modern time for Nigeria. I think he's the best that we have had, and he was so lucky in the time when Nigeria still had this kind of faking off from under 17 to under 20. We were able to carry those players. He was so lucky to have that progression also, which really helped him. And he was a very talented player as a whole, and he really helped the Nigerian team also in the dressing room and in the ordering of the players to be well. I think he's a legend for Nigeria, I would say, and he has really done well.
Definitely. The AFCON 2013 triumph as well was probably the highlight of his career for Nigeria.
Yes, of course. It was, and he was someone that every Nigerian, when watching ball, we always look forward to seeing him in place.
Okay, but I would have to bring you on board this debate. I mean, trending on social media over the past 10-15 hours. Who is a better midfielder? Some have adjudged that Mikel is Nigeria's best midfielder ever. Some say Sunday Olise. What's your take?
Well,
it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one, but I'll say I'll lean towards Mikel. He had a better long career
apparently for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Well, we'll still have to talk football on the show, and let's turn our attention now to European football. It's all about the UEFA Nations League. Remember, players didn't play for their club sides last week and the past few days representing their countries. Yesterday we had action. It was in Lisbon, Portugal against Spain. Portugal just needed to get a draw, but Spain did the needful with Alvaro Morata scoring a last-minute goal to give Spain the win. 1-0 that ended over Portugal, and more importantly, it took them straight into the finals of the UEFA Nations League. The Spanish team have not really been. I mean, yes, we know it's a transition from the Xavi Iniesta, the golden age of 2008, 2010 World Cup, 2012 Euros as well. That period was all about Spanish dominance, but the results have not been fluid. The goals have not been 4, 5, 6, 7 like you would expect, but they still got the job done against the very difficult Portugal side. I
would say they really tried in that game, because I was looking for Portugal to win the game. I think Portugal has, I would say, I've had a major problem of grinding out results exactly when they need them. They have had that major problem. I think probably for their coach, and probably something that's making them. They have this quality of players. When you look at them on paper, you're like, okay, for World Cup I can pick this team. But when you see them play again against these teams, and you're like, I'm not sure these people are really ready for the World Cup. So I think they need to improve, and Spain has been improving. They have a lot of young players in them, and their coach is really trying to adjust them well.
Okay, but looking at both sides, Spain, Portugal, you think they can get to probably semi-finals at the World Cup now? from what we've seen, during the course of this UEFA Nations League?
I would still I'll say it depends on the kind of opposition they face. Portugal and Spain probably facing Argentina or Brazil in any way. I'll pick Argentina or Brazil over them because those people are in very good form. But reaching the semi-final, it's going to be hard for both of them to reach. I'm not seeing anyone reaching semi-final.
Okay. Yeah. Well, still talking about the UEFA Nations League, we had action yesterday as well as Norway hosted Serbia, and they needed just a point. It was all about Erling Haaland leading the charge, but that wasn't to be. You had Vlahovic from Juventus as well as Mitrovic from Fulham getting the goals as Serbia ran out 2-0 winners to also book their place in terms of promotion. Remember, they are in the Group B, so now they've been promoted to the League A of the UEFA Nations League. Quite an impressive win for Serbia, and it's almost like a revenge. The reverse fixture, Norway won away from home. Haaland scored the only goal. This time around, Serbia getting it done. How were you impressed with the performance?
I think I was really impressed with their performance, and also with Mitrovic especially, because he has been underrated a lot.
Exactly.
He has been underrated a lot. I think now he has 50 goals in I think something games
for Serbia.
So that's a very I'll say an amazing kind of record for a striker. So he has been underrated, and he has really proved himself time and time again. So I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, it's great. Talking about Mitrovic, just as he has said, 50 international goals in fewer matches than Ronaldo and Messi were able to achieve for Portugal and Argentina. Talking about hitting 50 goals, Mitrovic definitely on fire. He has scored 14 UEFA Nations League goals, which is a record. Do not forget that he has also scored 4 goals in his last 4 away matches, and all in all 12 goals in his last 11 games for club and country. This is a man that is seemingly unstoppable. I don't think anyone is rating Serbia to do any magic. But you think with time these clubs, or these countries, Norway, Serbia, can begin to really push for the big boys when it comes to Euros and all the time?
Yes, I think they would. We have the likes of Denmark also going
exactly that process,
and Hungary also trying to push forward. So we have these smaller teams that were not really rated actually gathering themselves and really displacing these bigger countries. So I think that's what will happen as we see.